if you're on his campaign, and I know you are certainly not, I'm not making any implication of that, but what?
Isn't this weird, though? Isn't this odd that a mainstream media outlet, which is allegedly a for-profit corporation, is implying that half the country doesn't watch them? In fact, they're making it as a joke, like it would be funny if someone from the other side would watch them. I mean, why aren't they more inclusive, you know? Isn't inclusivity all the rage in 2024? And yet the anchor is making fun of even the implication that someone that would be a Republican may actually watch their television network. I mean, a lot of people have omitted the first 5 seconds, but I think they're very telling.
What is the logic behind this, going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food there.
Love. The thing is, though, why would you watch a television network, which, again, like, has a team of people, a team of experts, and they can't figure out why Trump went to a McDonald's? I don't know, maybe the photo op? I mean, maybe it's because he's a politician and he's trying to get votes? By the way, don't get me wrong, I realize that this is pandering, right? Like, this is how you get votes. You're trying to show to people that you're relatable. And Kamala's campaign does it too. I mean, look, Kamala rally in World of Warcraft. Interesting how MSNBC doesn't talk about that, right? Like, that isn't, like, weird or anything like that. No. Even Hillary Clinton said, I don't know what Pokemon Go is, but it's Pokemon time to go to the polls. Right? Like, this is what politicians do. And I have absolutely no doubt that this is staged. I do not think that he actually went into a McDonald's and he was serving random people. The man went through what, like 3 assassinations attempt or 2? 2.5? I'm not sure at this point. I'm losing count. So it's obvious that the Secret Service detail would be concerned about his safety. I genuinely think that this was staged and a photo op. But you know what? All politicians do this. I mean, Joe Biden did it as well. And not only that, but everything about politicians nowadays is fake. I mean, Kamala Harris was reading from a prompter at the town hall meeting. This is normal. Like, again, the media looks at something that is perfectly normal and all politicians are doing it. And they're not against the concept. They're just against, like, when Trump does it. And they think it's making him look bad. Now, they don't understand why he did it. Which is very interesting because I don't have a team of experts. I don't have a team of fact checkers. And I understand. The reason he does it is because Kamala Harris, his opponent, apparently lied at working at a McDonald's. And there's even a take where he responds to a person and he says that I now work 15 minutes at a McDonald's. I work 15 minutes more than Kamala ever has at the McDonald's. Which is explaining why he's doing it. But, of course, MSNBC didn't show that segment for some reason. And they're still confused about why on earth would a politician try to do a PR campaign.
There before. But what's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt.
Again, they're absolutely bewildered. So, one politician says that they worked at a McDonald's. The other one goes like, no, you didn't. You know what? I will work at a McDonald's. And they do. And there's no logic to it. It's like, why would he do it? Why would he want to get photo ops as a politician? How would this help him? Why is he trying to keep getting these pictures?
He has not put forth an economic agenda.
By the way, wasn't Kamala like the only president in my lifetime that didn't put any policy on the website for, I think it was like the first few weeks, if not months? And for some reason, like, that criticism didn't appear. Or maybe it did, and I didn't watch MSNBC. See, maybe this is what they're banking on. Maybe they're criticizing Kamala all the time. It's just that I don't get to see it because I don't watch MSNBC.
He, as you know, appears to be not well, and he's...
I love it. It's like he is, well, appears to be not well. Well, do you have any evidence to back that up? Like, is there any other things besides your opinion? But this is what they do, right? Like, they constantly set the stage, right? Like Trump is unhinged, he is unwell, he is doing it for himself, he is a threat to democracy. And then when he uses words like we need to fight like never before, they say, well, this is violence. Even though in a normal circumstance, when a politician says we need to fight, like no one is expecting that type of rhetoric to be violent. It's just like the type of rhetoric that most politicians use. But because they set the stage saying he's unhinged, he is a threat to democracy, he's a fascist, right? All of a sudden, people have a different take, and they will hyperanalyze everything he says. This is what they're banking on.
He's engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during the...
I just want to point out that a lot of leftists think that working at a McDonald's is a bizarre type of activity. All jokes aside, though, no, this is actually the vibe that I get from a lot of leftists. And the first time that I opened my eyes was during a debate that Sargon had with Destiny years ago. And Sargon was saying that, you know, like some people like to be builders. Like they enjoy the activity of building stuff. And Destiny just couldn't fathom this, right? Because the leftist mentality is that you need to get an education and you need to get into student debt in order to avoid doing the manual labor. Like the manual labor, according to the left, is for illegals. Like a lot of cases, in an interview with J.D. Vance, that was actually expressly stated. It's like, well, if we don't have illegal immigration, who's going to build the houses? As if America hasn't built houses before the last decade. Right? And they look down at the people working at a McDonald's, and I think like the reason that they're livid is because what Donald Trump is doing here, it looks like one of his TV shows, basically. It looks a little bit like The Apprentice, or because he's a showman. Like before he became a politician, he actually worked in showbiz, and this is why he's so comfortable with doing this. And it's basically making people laugh. It's making people enjoy themselves. Like no one actually believes that he spent an entire day actually working at McDonald's. I mean, maybe there are some people that think that, but the thing that connects people is that you're watching this and it's wholesome. I actually saw the show, you know, like he was making jokes, he was talking to people in the driveway, like it looks fluid, it doesn't look forced, it doesn't look cringe. And I think this is what upsets them because they realize it was actually a good PR.
This campaign. So this is just another one of those stunts that he will continue on through the campaign. And I think that we need to really focus on making sure that he is not elected, of course, because he is a threat to our democracy. But
see, there you go. There you go. It's like another just dropping it there. You know, he goes to a McDonald's, and even as he's cooking your burgers, he's a threat to your democracy. Jesus. But you know what I want to ask is if, let's say he does get elected. Now, let's say you get 4 years of Donald Trump, and after these 4 years, he steps down, and you have a new election, and maybe a Democrat wins, right? So he wasn't a threat to your democracy. Are any of these journalists going to resign? Are any of these journalists going to suffer the consequences for being incompetent at their jobs? Because, like, literally, this is what they're paid to do. They're paid to editorialize. So you would expect that because they have so much prestige, since they're working for the mainstream media, and YouTube calls it authoritative source, and they get pushed up in most of the search algorithms, they should also have some responsibility based on that. I mean, if we're going to judge by the fact that, okay, well, a random content creator that's a YouTuber, and he is doing it from his mother's basement, so he's not authoritative. Meanwhile, the mainstream media, because they're a corporation, they get to be authoritative. Well, shouldn't they be held to higher standard then? Like, if they say something that is proven to be blatantly false over the course of time, should they not resign? And the answer is no. Like, this is what a lot of people tend to forget, that the best way to consume the mainstream media is by looking at articles that came up 4 years ago and seeing what they were saying then and what it turned out. And honestly, you will not see bigger liars in your entire life. Like, even if you go on Vosh's channel, even if you go on Destiny's channel and you listen to their takes, most of the time, at least their takes don't age so poorly. They still age bad, but not as poorly as the mainstream media. Like, seriously, just read, like, the COVID pandemic again. You know, go back to the articles from 2020 using the Internet Wayback Machine and see the stuff that they were saying and they were predicting. And you will wonder, it's like, what was this madness? And it goes beyond 2020. Like, almost every single time the journalists predict something or they say something. When you're part of the culture, when they say it during that day, it doesn't sound crazy. But when you look at it 4 years after the fact, man, it sounds mentally unhinged. And for some reason, people still give them the benefit of the doubt.
Also, the Harris loss agenda is about the economy, reducing the cost of living, reducing the cost of prescription drugs.
No critical thought whatsoever. I mean, the Biden-Harris administration is still in the presidency now. Now, you can say, well, she's the vice president, so, like, obviously she couldn't do these changes. Well, it's interesting how the moment that Joe Biden was doing poorly in the polls, he was forced to step down. So it does seem like the Democratic Party does have some control. They do have some say in how things are run. So they did have the White House all the way up until now, and they didn't do any of these things with the economy. But all of a sudden, I guess because it's election season, that now we're going to do it. Fascinating.
Reducing the cost of housing and making life better for everyone. And that's what we have to focus on and make sure we get every voter to the polls and make sure that the voters vote for the future, not taking the country backwards.
Isn't it interesting when you have a mainstream media outlet that's basically telling people that you need to vote Democrat? Like, openly so, right? This is why they're probably aware that Republicans don't watch them, because they're not even trying to show that they're in the middle, like they're the arbiters and they're just finding out what the news is and presenting it to the public. No, like, they want to influence the public. They want to tell the public, like, no, if this guy wins, threat to democracy is over. The economy is going to be in shambles. Even though, like, when he was president, the economy was better than after he stopped being president. Honestly, though, the Democrats would have had so much more to win if Trump was able to remain president for 4 more years, because, like, all the damage that happened during COVID, it would have been on his responsibility. So, like, if the prices went higher, if the gas prices went higher, and the gas prices may have, like, depending if the conflict in Ukraine would have started or not, because I'm not really sure. You know, like, maybe Putin wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if Donald Trump was in office, because you would have thought, no, he's a crazy man. He may actually do something about it. So, if the economy would have been the same way it is now, and Trump would have been in office for 4 more years, then that would have gave the Democrats a major win. You know, then you could have actually have, like, a Kamala Harris coming up and say, yeah, she's going to fix the economy, she's going to make life better for people. Like, that could have happened. But they got the presidency, and I don't see that people are very happy with the way they governed. So, yeah, I mean, this is why MSNBC is absolutely livid. Because they know it's successful. If this was, like, a bad campaign, they would have been a lot more upset. But the interesting thing is, like, you're seeing Donald Trump making fries, and they're raging about it. Like, they're absolutely ass mad that Donald Trump is making fries out of McDonald's and having fun while doing it. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.